So you're watching or listening to What's the Tea? My name is Lydia.
My name is Andy.
And Merry Christmas, everyone.
Happy Christmas.
This is our Christmas episode.
If there is a certain sense of letdown, disappointment coming from Lydia's mouth right now, it's because, well, we've just recorded an episode.
It was so good.
It was particularly unhinged. And
the sound didn't work. Andy let us down with his mic. It's not Andy's fault. Just one of those things.
There's a lot more to it than
one of
that.
those things.
Thank you very, very much, Lydia.
No, it wasn't your fault at all. But I just want to show some appreciation for Andy because look at what he's done to our backdrop. I asked him to make it Christmassy, and you have not disappointed at me, Andy. Thank you so much.
We have Christmas trees.
Yeah. And then
it's
we
all Christmassy.
forgot Christmas.
You brought Christmas. We had Christmas crackers. Well, we obviously still got Christmas crackers.
I know, I've had to reconstruct them.
Yeah, we had a whole thing where we did Christmas crackers and yeah. So sometimes let's talk about disappointment. It's Christmas. We're going to talk all things Christmassy.
But for those, just quickly before though,
yes,
should we describe those that are listening and not watching the videos to what we're wearing?
Yes. So I'm modelling a Santa jacket.
And modelling it quite well, may I add.
Thank you.
I have developed probably the ugliest necklace that you will ever find in existence of tinsel and a Merry Christmas sign. Because I forgot to get us Christmas outfits. So this is what we've had to do with on last minute.
But it looks great.
Thanks.
And on the subject of Christmas, as you can see, sometimes things happen that we feel a little bit disappointed with.
Yeah,
isn't that right, Lydia?
Yeah, we big it up in our mind and then it just, I had this whole plan of how this Christmas pod was going to be and, it was great and then mics weren't working and now I'm disappointed.
That's true. So, this is the season finale before we break for Christmas.
That is correct, yeah, we're going to have a Christmas break.
Hopefully we're not going to be too unhinged. But we can't
promise anything. We can sometimes be a bit unhinged, me and you.
Christmas is a wonderful time of the year for some people.
For some
a lot
people.
of people, there's an expectation that Christmas is a wonderful time of the year.
But it isn't always.
It's not always.
Yeah. So I love Christmas. Okay. For me, Christmas starts the 1st of November. Okay. I watch
November, right?
all the rubbish kind of Hallmark Christmas movies
November,
from the 1st of November to the 1st of December. All right, Andy. Are you going to let me finish? Thank you. You do this a lot, You interrupt me. I'm hoping the new season is a new you. I think you're great the way you are, Andy. But if you could change a little, I'm joking. So yeah, watch rubbish Christmas films from the 1st of November to the 1st of December, and then the real stuff comes out the 1st of December. I'm talking Home Alone, Home Alone 2, Grinch, The Holiday, Love Actually, and then I feel really festive then because I've been prepping since the 1st of November.
Is now a good time to big up the other Home Alone movies as well?
I said Home Alone 1 and 2.
There's other ones. There's Home
They're
Alone
rubbish.
3, there's 4.
But they're rubbish.
They are worth a watch if you've not watched them.
Yeah, then no, 1 and 2.
Okay, there's one rubbish one.
1 and 2. The others don't pass the Christmas
3's
test.
all right.
And also, before anyone says, Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. I have... Shut up, sound technician over there, Chris. Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. I've said it, guys. Please don't hate me, but I think a lot of people will be in agreement.
Take for this episode.
Yes.
So, I guess what we're saying is that we kind of big up particular times of year quite a bit in our heads. Sometimes it doesn't work out as we wish.
Yeah.
And
I'm such in a Christmas mind. I was going to start saying, we wish you a Merry... You said that, sorry.
No, don't do that.
Sorry.
And I'm not going to turn around and say that's okay, but I'm going to turn around and say, yeah. I do think like Christmas can be, and I think it's massively commercialized, and I think media has does the biggest thing of like bigging it up, of being like, you need all of this food on the table, you need all these presents. For me, the reason Christmas means so much to me is my dad worked a lot. He worked away. Sadly, he ended up being a weekend dad just because he had to work away to provide. Sure.
So Christmas was the time that we had off with him. He was the most present, and it was just family, laughter, and I know a lot of people may not have people
to spend time with at Christmas, and that's okay, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But for me, it wasn't about the lavish meals, the presents. I can't even remember half of the presents I probably got as a child. So it's more about the memories, I think, for Christmas. And again, don't put too much pressure on yourself of making those memories amazing.
I think that's it, innit? There's a lot of pressure to have the perfect Christmas, for everything to be exactly how we expect it to be.
Yeah, and you need
almost
lots
like
of
a
money to
podcast,
have the
for
best.
example.
Yeah, we need to have a lot of money to have the best Christmas. All of this. I think you can do Christmas on a budget and it can still be great. As to those that have loads of money, for example.
So, on that note, when you look at kind of like Christmas adverts and things like that, one thing that seems to come up quite often is the whole kind of idea of have a huge, lavish Christmas dinner that has absolutely everything that everyone around that Christmas table wanted to have.
Yeah, but you can do it.
Does it have to be that way?
No, you can make your Christmas meal the way you want it to. But if you want a traditional Christmas, meal with a turkey, turkeys can be expensive. You can go. If you can't afford a turkey, that's okay. Get something else. Like you could be like, oh, do you know what? We're going to do a cultural themed Christmas. We can only afford rice and this. That's totally fine. But you can get a good Christmas meal at a reasonable price. Iceland does this really well. And for the YMCA, when we do Christmas Day for our residents that stay there on Christmas Day, is that we go to Iceland and get a turkey, a ham, and all the trimmings. It's reasonably priced. It's freezable as well. So if you don't eat it, you're not wasting any food. Nice. And all you have to do is whack it in the oven. You're not spending all day in the kitchen. You can actually spend it with the people you've got over or do something else. So you don't need to be spending loads.
I guess it doesn't have to be a turkey either. No. It could be turkey meat.
Yeah. It could be you could do a vegetarian one if that's cheaper, like a corn one, But also you can, if you've got people over, you can ask them to bring a dish. So all you have to pay for is like the meat or the veg, and they bring it over. You don't have to be solely the one to provide if you've got people over. And even if you haven't got people over and you're on your own, do encourage you to try and do a Christmas meal, like a roast, basically a roast, isn't it? A Christmas dinner.
That's all it really is. We just all get hung up on it.
I know. So it's good to get your veg and stuff and cook it yourself, but you can always go out as well, somewhere cheap and reasonable for Christmas Day dinner if you wanted to, and that's totally fine. There is no rules for Christmas.
I guess that's absolutely true. I guess if you got people coming, if you are cooking for people, it's also okay to start planning it now.
Yeah.
So if people have got requests that you've not thought about, you've got time to work that out.
Yeah, exactly. And also, if you can't, you are struggling financially, Food Bank does try and provide as much as the Christmas essentials for a Christmas dinner as possible, and that's okay to get it there. We all have different, stages of finances, and it's okay to need to go to the Food Bank to get your Christmas dinner.
So on the note of finances, there seems to be a thing, and I've seen it a few times where people feel this pressure to spend loads of money on Christmas presents, almost to the detriment of other things that they should be spending their money on.
Yeah, so every year at the YMCA, we do get a few residents that may overindulge on Christmas presents and then not have money for rent. And, prioritise. Your rent needs to come first. Your bills need to come first. Your people that love you and care about you will understand if you can't afford Christmas presents, or you say, I'm not doing presents this year. You can do things like, do you know what, guys? I don't want anything for Christmas, because you feel that you've got that expectation to give back. If you get a present, you can be like, can you donate to Food Bank, donate to the homeless shelter, whatever it is. Or you can just say, no Christmas this year. No Christmas presents this year. We'll just have a meal together. The only people that I buy Christmas presents
for, hang out, watch movies.
The only people I buy Christmas presents for is my parents. Me and my sisters club together. Me and my two sisters. Me and my sisters don't do Christmas presents. We do matching Christmas pajamas, and we take it in tiers to buy. Okay. That wasn't a childhood tradition. That's something we started in adulthood. And then with my friends as well, we don't bother with Christmas presents. We just try and hang out near Christmas and do something fun. So it's okay to say, I'm not doing presents this year. If you want good, affordable presents, Etsy's the place to go. That's where I get most of my presents, because Etsy is independent stores that do unique, fantastic gifts at a really low price.
Okay.
And they can get delivered to your door. So if you're not sure of what to get, you can get some really lovely, meaningful gifts that look expensive but aren't breaking the bank.
Nice.
Yes. But also, just on that note as well, is if you are needing tips, finances over Christmas, Martin Lewis, the money expert,
knows everything.
He knows
about
everything.
Saving money.
Exactly. I'm sure he's got some Christmas tips on his website. We don't want people getting into debt over trying to create this made up magical Christmas that seems to be what sells.
And that is the pressure that's kind of put on us, isn't it? I think on that note, a couple of years ago, the term cost of living crisis came up. And I think if you're looking for a reason to not spend a lot of cash on people, that's your go-to excuse, you know.
Cost of living crisis.
Cost of living crisis. I have no money at the end of the month, normally, as it is.
Exactly. And don't feel like you've got pressure to be like, oh, in January, start saving. But also, a little tip that a lot of my friends do, January sales, get you Christmas presents in January.
Perfect time to get Christmas decorations.
Just store them, make a note of what you've bought so you don't forget. But, whenever there's a sale, Black Friday, plan your presents if you want to get presents at an affordable rate. And also, if you've got children, like your children aren't going to remember all the gifts that you got them for Christmas. I certainly don't. I just remember the memories of the laughter and the time spent together. Yeah. So, don't feel like, if you're a parent, don't put the pressure on to make it this magical Christmas for your kids. Like, it will be magical because you're there and you're present.
That was beautifully put.
I should do adverts, shouldn't I?
Well, maybe. Let's talk about the great British pastime.
What's that?
Going out drinking to the pub.
Oh yeah. Why are you looking at me when you say that, Andy?
Because this is
feel
meant
like
to be
that
a
was a bit
conversation.
personal.
This is meant to be a conversation. I'm looking at you whilst I'm talking to you.
Okay.
That's how this works.
But you are right. Christmas, booze. You've got Christmas parties. You've got, I'm pretty sure if you go online, you can find some statistics, but police calls go up, drunk disorderly crime rates go up, people being arrested, detained, hospitals get really busy. Sadly, anytime there's a big holiday, us British are at the pub drinking excessively to the point where we can't handle it. And there is this pressure to drink or be merry and drink. But if you want to be sober, then that is okay. If you don't want to break your sobriety, you don't have to drink. If you go to these Christmas parties, you don't have to drink. If you don't want to go to a Christmas party because you feel like you might be at risk of relapsing, then don't go. It's totally fine. I think, and sobriety as well isn't this big taboo that it was, I think, 10 years ago. There's a lot of celebrities that I'm seeing now on Instagram that are releasing that they've been sober for 2 years, not because they had a problem with alcohol, but they just realised that it wasn't good for them. They had bad reactions or whatever. So I think if you were to mention it to someone about being sober, I think people would be more understanding than they were 10 years ago. So just tell someone if you feel comfortable to.
And even if you're not in that place, it's okay to not drink or not drink more than however much you want, and use whatever your go-to excuse is if you need one. Yeah.
And I think also Christmas is a time where most people relapse, and that's okay as long as you reach out for support afterwards and that you just don't ruin your sobriety completely and think, oh, what's the point? You've got your usual places to go. You've got your NA, your AA. If you're in Devon, it's Together at Drug and Alcohol Service. But if you're not in Devon, you can search your local. You can just type in your local area, Drug and Alcohol Service. Your local services will pop up, and just definitely reach out for them for support. They'll offer great tips and advice during this time where you're going to be surrounded by a lot of temptation.
So we've talked about Christmas dinners. We've talked about going out drinking.
Yeah.
What if you're someone who is listening and or watching us, and part of you is there going, actually, I kind of wish I had that option. I kind of wish I could go and see people, because actually I kind of feel a bit lonely.
Yeah, and that is, I think, the risk around Christmas as well. You know, there's all these adverts, isn't it, of people being together and things like that. But what I would say is there's a lot of stuff that you can do around Christmas that doesn't require you to be with people. You know, my Christmas movie tradition that I mentioned, it's most of the time on my own. Decorating the Christmas tree, you don't need to have loads of people around you. I just put a bit of Christmas music on. Some Christmas nibbles, decorate the tree.
Dancing.
Oh, Christmas dancing that no one is ever going to see because it is horrendous. It is horrendous. I do not have a rhythm in my bone.
Okay.
But yeah, you can do that. You can create your own traditions doing that way. And, you know, Christmas tree decorating doesn't have to be this amazing thing where you've got this lavish tree with all these baubles and everything like that. I've got a pop-up tree. So it's the decorations are attached to the tree. Constantine is down and you just pull it up, put a pole in it, whack some lights on, Bob's your uncle. You know, I'm not spending hours decorating a tree. But yeah, so you can do a lot of things on your own. Writing Christmas cards or creating Christmas cards for your neighbours is a great way to meet your local neighbours. If you don't know the name, you can just put to whoever lives at number 5.
That's quite a positive way to kind of communicate with your neighbours as well.
Yeah.
It's not like, who's that parked in that
and you never know, like you might end up having really good relationships with them that you end up being invited over around a Christmas event or whatever. And, you know, you can always invite them over if you want to, but there's no pressure. You don't have to do that in the card. Do you remember, now this is probably unlocking a childhood memory, do you remember at primary school making paper chains around Christmas? So you'd get like little card and you'd circle them and then loop them and it'd be like a paper chain.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah. So you can make one of those at home. You don't need to have people around. If you're crafty, make a paper chain in your house. So it's great for budget as well for decorating. And have you got any other ideas as well if you want to
I guess
if you've
if
got no
you're
one around?
looking for a thing, Facebook's probably your friend, isn't it? But as a place to kind of go to, do a bit of research for your local area.
Yeah.
And see what local events, what local
I'm sure there's probably loads that they advertise.
There are more and more advertising kind of happening as time goes on now. I imagine the week before Christmas there'll be all sorts of
there'll be loads
stuff happening. And also, if you are looking for a thing, particularly over the Christmas Day period, see if there's anywhere they could try volunteering at.
Yeah, that's a good idea because there's like soup kitchens and
yeah.
stuff, isn't there? Yeah.
Or hospitals or that sort of place.
I can imagine they're looking for volunteers around Christmas being the busiest season, so they'll probably bite your hand off if you offer.
But also if you're not wanting to be around people, if you're not wanting to do stuff, that's okay as well.
Oh yeah,
that is perfectly okay to actually treat Christmas Day as a day for you to stay in. Watch whatever movie you want, eat chocolate.
Sounds great.
Play video games. If it turns into a comfort day for you, that's perfectly okay.
That is perfectly okay, yeah. And I think as well, like we'll put a link to the Mind website. The Mind website is a mental health organisation and charity, and they've got some great tips of how to cope over Christmas if your mental health is triggered as a result. So we'll definitely leave that in a link in the show notes or in the description. But also, I think one thing that would be good to talk about is those that struggle with food. We talked quite a lot about food, and Christmas is centered around food. Yeah. So some people may struggle with an undiagnosed or diagnosed eating disorder or body image or self-confidence. And what I would say is it's okay not, you don't have to eat loads if it's really struggling, you really struggle. I would advise to reach out support around that matter though, because, it is quite harmful and dangerous to manage it on your own. But if with friends and family, you can always just say, if you're plating up your own plate up as little as you want. Yeah. There is no, there is, I think, this expectation to have excess, isn't there? Like plate your food up, you've got a mountain, you've been stuffed, loads of leftovers, but it's okay not to do that too.
Yeah, and if you're looking for a conversation about why you're not doing that, but you're looking for a conversation that isn't focused on you. You could talk about how actually that is the expectation, about how we are almost expected to eat too much. Yeah. And how that contributes to the amount of food that's left over. And you could talk about how you just don't want to do that.
You don't want to waste food, yeah. But also, you could just say leftover Christmas food is the better. Because I do. I think Boxing Day food, like cold meats and all of that and bubble and squeak is probably the best thing to look forward to. So you could always just say like, I prefer leftovers. So I just think we wanted this pod to make sure that, it was light, but also just for those that are really struggling during this time, that you're not alone. There's places that you can reach out to for support. You can reach out to us as well at YMCA Exeter if you need any advice or tips. That's totally fine as well.
Now, let's bring some order to proceedings. It's been a little bit more chaotic than normal. So every podcast we end with the sharing of the weird news that we've seen.
Yeah. I feel like we need a jingle. Weird news.
Maybe that is to come in season 2. We'll see. We'll find out. My weird news for a week.
Okay.
If you were to buy a banana,
right?
Just a banana.
Just one banana.
Just one banana. How much do you reckon?
Well, you get about 5. That's about 75p. I'm going to go with like 10p, 5p.
Okay, so about, let's say 10p.
10p,
cost of living crisis. So.
Yeah, 10p.
How about a little bit of duct tape?
Well, well, duct tape. Depends on how much duct tape.
Like just a bit.
Okay, I would say 50p.
Okay, so we're looking at about 60p.
Yeah.
How about $6.2 million?
What?
So a banana.
Someone bought that?
Yeah. So a banana duct taped to a wall. Conceptual piece of art titled Comedian and sold for $6.2 million at an auction at
Well, yeah, I'm not surprised it's titled Comedian because that's just comical that someone spent that amount of money on a banana.
Now.
Do you know what? I think I'm going to do that. So Jeremy, who we work with, is an art enthusiast. Some people may remember Jeremy Theaton. Hi, Jeremy. I might just get a banana and duct tape, put it on a wall in our office because we share an office, and just say it's art.
Can I see the photos?
Yeah. I'll film it, and just be like, look, sell it. 6 million for the Y. Look at that.
Brilliant. We have our next money-making fundraising project. Brilliant.
I don't know how that would go down with our CEOs, but...
I don't know, if it gets 6.2 million. What is your weird news of the week?
Mine is back to aliens, I'm afraid.
Back to aliens.
Oh,
yeah, we did that whole...
let's not bring that back up.
Yeah.
So this one, really, it could be the tinsel that's making me itch, but it does make me all itchy and, I don't like it.
Right, okay.
So
you're wearing tinsel... Yeah, anyway.
Okay. NASA discovers strange spider webs on Mars that they believe could be connected to aliens. So a new discovery found strange structures resembling spider webs across a non-explored area of Mars, and NASA think it could link to alien life on the red planet. Now, if we ever have to leave this planet for this, to survive as humans, and they say go to Mars, and there's potentially some big ass spiders on Mars, I'm staying here. I'm just going to risk it.
Yeah, you know what?
Alien
spiders. Alien giant spiders.
I hate spiders.
Right. That is nightmare fuel.
Yeah.
In time for Christmas.
I know, right? We're talking about all the joy.
So we are finishing the Christmas finale by talking about
spiders and
alien
phobias.
Spiders.
But there you go. There's the weird news for you.
Don't have nightmares, people.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening and/or watching. Please don't forget to subscribe or follow us on your favourite podcast provider.
Yes, and we'll see you in the new year with a new season. Have a good Christmas and a happy new year.
Don't have nightmares.